As one of the representative works of the first generation of main battle tanks, the T-54/55 tank has an astonishing total production of about 100,000 vehicles, which is rarely seen in the history of tanks. High production means that it will occupy a numerical advantage on the battlefield, but it also means that the cost of upgrading is very high. Despite the fact that the Soviet Union is a major land power, cost control is also necessary. Therefore, the Soviet Union did not completely retire the T-54/55 series tanks until its dissolution, and has always been improving and upgrading them. Among them, the T-55AMV is a late 1980s upgraded model. The technological line of the T-55AMV actually continues the T-55AM, and the latter is a deep improvement model of the T-55A tank in the 1970s, which officially entered service in 1983. Its comprehensive combat capability is approximately at the level of a second-generation main battle tank. The combat weight of the T-55AM is about 37 tons, and its weapon system should be its biggest change. It retains the original manually loaded 100mm smoothbore gun, but adds a dual-axis stabilizing system for the gun barrel, the Volna fire control system, a laser rangefinder, and other equipment, improving the reaction time and accuracy of the gun. Versions equipped by different countries have differences in some details. For example, the Czechoslovak version mounts the laser rangefinder and crosswind sensor above the gun shield, while the Polish version integrates the laser rangefinder into the gunner's sight. The gun can fire all the ammunition of the T-55 tank, and add steel core subcaliber discarding sabot rounds and gun-launched anti-tank missiles. The tank's power was changed to a V55U V12 diesel engine with an output of 620 horsepower, and enhanced suspension and tracks were used. The tank's maximum speed on the road is 50 km/h. BDD additional armor and rubber skirts were added for protection. BDD is like an additional spaced armor, which can effectively counter armor-piercing shells and also has a certain effect against armor-piercing shells. It is installed on the top of the tank's frontal armor, and within a 140 degrees range in front of the turret, except for the gun mounting position. The armor changes according to the shape of the turret, which is a highly recognizable feature of the T-55AM. A total of thousands of T-55AM tanks were upgraded. In addition to the Soviet Army, they were also equipped in the armies of East Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. The BDD armor used by it was also used to upgrade the T-62 tank. Just 2 years after the T-55AM entered service, the development of the T-55AMV also began. The V in the name comes from the Russian word for explosion. It entered service in the late 1980s and later entered service in the Russian Army, the Syrian Army, and other countries. It is also widely used in Africa, such as in Uganda. The T-55AMV is similar to the T-55AM in many aspects, except for the additional armor. It replaces the BDD armor with the Contact 1 explosive reactive armor, which is more flexible in installation. They are densely installed on the front, sides, turret front, and top of the T-55AMV, providing more comprehensive protection than the BDD armor. As the latest upgraded model of the old 5 pairs of road wheels, T-54/55, in the hands of the Soviet Union at the time, it is likely that the T-55AMV will serve in the Soviet Army for a long time, and may also upgrade some T-55AM to T-55AMV. Currently, the T-55AMV is still in service in some countries, and the most active region is Africa, where most countries are poor and still use a large number of old tanks. Some photos of destroyed T-55AMV tanks can also be found online.